Welcome to another episode of Searching for McGuffin with your hosts, George,
Gabe,
and Link. I'm wet.
done with the die.
Okay.
I'm wet. My shirt is wet. Gabriel's shirt is wet.
I think you're going to need to provide a little more
My
context.
jeans are wet.
Yeah.
That chair was
My chair
wet.
was wet. Yeah. So,
Man, I wish I had it. I left it downstairs.
for real. So a friend of ours recently co-hosted the show with us,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure when his episode's coming out.
Significantly after this
This one,
episode's
yeah.
coming out. So it's
So
like time travel.
Yeah, time travel. All right, so he went to Japan, right, and brought us some gifts, and everyone got cool gifts. Gabriel got this. What do you call this?
Oh, we're just going to spoil the gift?
I got a ninja star.
And
It's
I got
going to
this-
hit different when they
Yeah.
when you unwrap it.
I didn't get a ninja star. I got this bounty.
And I got something in here, a mystery gift.
Yeah.
And when I opened it, it was a boob
you're
keychain.
just
Still
going to
goes
say
with
it?
the gift.
It was
Yeah.
a boob keychain,
Okay.
and it was wonderful. It was, it looked nice, right?
What?
Very realistic.
How would you know?
And
Silence.
and I was like, wow, what a great gift from Japan. And Gabriel got jealous that he didn't get a boob. All he got was a weapon. Well, I got a sex toy.
Oh, I don't
know what that
Can
is.
you say that?
I'm not sure. We'll
I
find
think
out.
he
And
can
we
say
get
that.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Should he say it? No.
Yeah, oh, okay.
well, what is it? What would you describe what I got?
It's a keychain.
Yeah, it's just a novelty, a gag novelty gift.
A naughty
A naughty-
naughty
Naughty.
keychain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Gabriel was so jealous that he popped it, and it exploded on both of us, mostly Gabriel.
Yeah.
So now we have
I still have my gift because I can't squeeze this.
yeah, we got milk all over our clothes.
That I don't
I
think
don't know
that's
what
was
liquid
in
that
it.
was. Yeah,
Just liquid. Just
it was kind of
Clear
like
fluid.
pinkish.
At least it wasn't blood.
It was strawberry milk.
Oh, it was pinkish.
Yeah.
it was not.
Okay, no. Let me show you the thing, bro.
I think we cleaned it up already.
Oh, I cleaned it up. Yeah, but it was pinkish.
Okay.
It's a strong start. What are we talking about?
So if you're listening to this and you're wondering why are Gabriel and Link wet, if you're listening,
What?
it's because a boob popped on us.
And that's all, folks.
Yeah, and Salut to Koibi. I'm not sure if we're all gonna keep our day jobs after this conversation.
You know what? We had a good run, right? It's always good to get out of our comfort zone and grow. So let's see. Yeah, man, this is gonna force us to go all out on this podcast. We're relying too much on our day jobs and not going all in on the podcast.
Okay.
So this is great.
The opposite.
No, going all
Because
in on a real
after
job.
this because the podcast won't be a thing after this. So we
Oh,
have to
yeah.
go all
No,
in
because
on our
now
day
we have to
jobs.
go all in on this because we lost our day jobs.
You're saying you think you're gonna lose your day job because of that? I
Yeah.
was thinking we're gonna lose the podcast because of that.
We might lose
yeah.
both. We
Oh.
might lose. We might
Both?
Get,
Oh,
yeah.
both.
Oh, whoa,
Both,
whoa!
yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Both is not.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're playing with fire.
Hmm.
You know who else plays with fire?
Who?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that was the question. Oh, who plays with fire?
Firebenders.
Okay, Aang.
Aang,
Alright, okay,
Zuko,
Zuko.
Ozai.
Wait, actually, Aang's not a firebender, or oh, he
He's
plays with
Ava-
all of them.
He's Avatar, so he
Yeah.
plays. Yeah, he knows how to master all the elements.
Okay, we're trying to find the transition, but what about fire? Like firing, like a weapon.
There's that action movie by Vin Diesel called Man on Fire.
Man,
What?
Man on Fire stars Denzel,
Denzel
Washington.
That's what I said. Denzel Washington.
Wait, was that real?
In
That-
my head, I thought of Denzel Washington, but in my mouth, I said Vin Diesel.
In
now,
your mouth.
Now we have to have like a picture of Denzel's body with the man
Yeah.
on fire with Vin
With
Diesel's
Vin
face.
Diesel's head, yeah. And he's because Man on Fire is that they kidnapped the kid and he has to go get it.
Yeah.
So it's like instead it's that basketball, that WNBA player.
Yeah, which Vin Diesel rescues, right?
Exactly.
From Russia.
Brittany
Griner.
Yeah.
Grinder.
That's not her name.
Griner?
Griner.
Griner.
So action movies? That's this week's topic. Action movies.
Mm.
Yeah, we didn't plan the transition.
Yeah, that boob thing was impromptu.
It took us off. Yeah, it took us off our game. Definitely
Yeah.
didn't plan for an
I
exploding
wasn't a
mammary gland.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Why are we talking about action movies in this season?
Because arguably one of the greatest action movies of all time just released.
Avatar 2.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
You know, I thought the Banshees of Inisherin was a Avatar spinoff.
Why?
Because the banshees that they ride in Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or is that Halo?
There's also banshees.
Oh, okay.
Where were we going with this? Oh no, John Wick.
Okay.
Wick 4.
John Wick 4. Have you guys watched it?
I have. Link is not.
I have
Link. It's been out for weeks.
Yeah.
Link was on a tour though.
I was on a tour.
Okay, but you've been.
I was on a tour promoting this podcast.
Oh, is that what the tour was for?
Yeah.
Where?
Nicaragua. Went to Nicaragua.
I don't think they listened to.
You know, I was trying to. I saw that our listeners were the viewership.
Was down in
Yeah,
Nicaragua.
the Nielsen ratings for our podcast was down in Nicaragua.
You have access to the Nielsen ratings?
Of course.
Okay.
And I'm the one that's in charge of that in the podcast. And so I went to go visit the promote. You get me? Try to see if this country. Also try to see if I can help it not become a communist country. I think I did more harm than good.
Because you fell for it.
Yeah, I fell for it. Yeah.
You were like, this place is great.
This place is great. And then I'm like, oh, am I communist? I don't know. But let me tell you, I shared the Gospels of the Searching for McGuffin podcast over there.
That's what you were doing?
Yeah. I think we got to do it in Spanish.
The show?
The show, because they're not.
Oh, they didn't
translate.
connect to it.
Yeah, they didn't connect, yeah.
They were like, what would you say that they didn't get?
The language.
He just kept asking for fritanga, and they were like, "Okay."
Yeah, exactly a thing there. But yeah, man, it's I tried my best.
Really?
I think
And
we gained like
styrofoam
2
plates and everything.
Yes, styrofoam plates and everything. We got a few listeners.
Mm-hmm. What about viewers?
Viewers, no,
They don't have cell phones?
they do, but you know, communism has that locked up pretty well. We're anti-communist.
But at the end of the day, communism didn't let Link watch John Wick 4.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. I can see that. Do they give John Wick 4 in Nicaragua?
They give Juan Week. Cuatro.
It sounds like 1 week.
One
That's what he
week.
said.
I was there for 1 week. And I think I gained 1 whole follower,
Okay.
which was money well spent. Because we are a therapy podcast.
Okay.
And that one person, his soul is being refreshed every Tuesday.
Well, you know what? It's okay. Oh, we are on Tuesdays now, by the
Tuesday, innit?
way. It's okay that you didn't watch it because this week's episode is not about John Wick.
Oh, good.
It's about action heroes in general.
Mm.
So John Wick had us thinking about the kind of action movie stars that have shaped us through the years. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about John Wick 4 towards the end. I know probably a lot of listeners and viewers haven't seen this. Making a bunch of money.
Which you should.
You
Which is
should,
awesome.
yeah.
Go out of your way. Carve out those three.
Probably the best
and a-
one, right?
In my opinion, yes.
I think it's the best one.
Well, we watched it with a friend who was like, it was the weakest one.
Ooh.
I don't want to talk about it. She plays a lot of Harry Potter.
It's a she.
Oh, my goodness.
She was like, it didn't have enough varied action set pieces.
Did it have horses?
You want to know that for real?
Oh, no, I don't want
All
I
right,
want
then don't ask questions you're not really
Yeah.
you got answers for. You're wondering if it had horses?
I mean, 3 had him riding horse all over New York.
Yeah, that's the only one because that was the action set piece for that movie.
So good.
What was the action set piece for 2?
They had horses in 2, no?
No, they did not have horses in 2. I just saw 2. I forgot what because 1 doesn't even have a big action set piece because it's the first one.
No, the first one is them fighting in a club.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 is when they fight those guards in the black, and then he fights the guys from the raid.
No, that's 3.
That's 3.
It's 3.
3
is Parabellum. What happens? in
Parabellum
2?
is off the chain. Parabellum is like, it's Santino has his marker,
Oh, yeah.
and now that he's out of retirement, he
fights Common.
He fights Common. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the one where he kills someone with a book.
The
That's
Parabellum.
3. That's
the
Parabellum.
beginning. He kills Boban.
Yeah.
I think Parabellum was like a big, like bar to clear.
That one
I
promoted
really
literacy.
like Parabellum.
I really like Parabellum too
Yeah.
because it had his own word. It had a name.
And dogs were were in it too, and they were
Well,
attacking.
dogs in all 3 of them.
Oh, man.
The little dog dies in the first one, and then he has like the bigger dog in the second
Yeah.
one, and then there's like a pack of dogs in 3.
Like Egyptian wolf dogs.
Yeah. So
It was beautiful.
but we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about action heroes. Why do these movies why do they impact us so much? How would you describe action hero movies, first of all?
Plot's probably out of control. Makes no sense,
Mhm.
right? Not much plot.
Right. Simple formula?
Simple formula, but great action, right? A lot of explosions.
Mm-hmm. What makes them so memorable?
I feel like back in the days, like one-liners.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Not so much today?
I mean, John Wick is all one-liners by John Wick.
Well, Keanu Reeves, that's all he can do, apparently, in the movies at least.
Yeah. But okay, so then define one-liners. Are one-liners like just one line in the dialogue, or are we talking about like those memorable, quotable lines?
Yeah. I think it's like a lot of just quotable lines.
Okay.
Car chases.
Car chases.
Car scenes,
Chase
yeah.
sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Explosions.
Lots of explosions, yeah. Would you say that action movies are big and dumb?
Yeah. They are dumb. Look at all the Fast movies. Fast series.
Or you would consider the Fast movies action films?
What are they? Fantasy?
They're family films.
They're Hallmark movies. You're right.
I guess, yeah, technically they are action
Yeah,
movies,
they
just
are.
action movies I don't like.
Right? Because like Vin Diesel's kind of an action star, right?
Yeah.
He's an action hero. Triple X, Man on Fire, apparently.
Pacifier.
The Pacifier. Yeah, that's a family movie, actually.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that wasn't The Rock. The Rock did the
Tooth Fairy.
one.
Yeah. The Rock's another action hero, right? Modern action hero. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about the difference. What is the difference? Well, before we get to the differences between the traditional action hero and the modern action hero. So if these movies are big and dumb, why do we like them so much?
Because they're big and dumb.
You don't have to think much. You get me?
Mm-hmm. But I kind of like to think, no? I like to think in the movies. I like to think when I'm watching TV. Why is it that you can turn your brain off?
I think it's just like I grew up watching movies like this.
Mm.
Like I was a kid.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's not a lot to, sort through as a kid. And I don't have to think, at a higher level. And it's like, once you get older, then you realize, like, oh, these are actually just big and dumb. I don't think that's the case for all of them. I think there are great action movies. Like Terminator 2.
The Bourne series.
Terminator 2. The Bourne series.
The Bourne
That's
movies.
true.
The Bourne movies, the James Bond movies,
Yeah.
Mission Impossible films, like.
They got a little more meat to them, right?
What I've realized is those movies, I think as time, especially those franchises, as time goes on, they get better.
Mm-hmm. Because like Mission Impossible, the first one's like kind of a suspense thriller and like kind of complicated, and the two one's big and dumb. Then it kind of like evens out with 3, and it just starts escalating. Is that real? You love 2?
I just have a special place. It's like one of those movies. I know it sucks, but it's a special place in my heart.
I honestly don't think it sucks. I think it's a product of its time.
Ethan Hunt with long hair.
Yeah.
He looks cool, man.
All
He was rock
black.
climbing.
Him rock climbing.
Motorcycle.
Bro, I think that's the movie that inspired the guy from Free Solo.
You think he watched?
Yeah, like
And he's like, I want to be Ethan Hunt.
there you go. Also, I don't think that you turn off your brain. I think that they're intelligent movies in the sense that when done right, the action is great, and in a way, it flows. Like when I think of John Wick and all those action scenes, to me they flow.
Yeah.
Especially the way that John Wick does jujitsu or judo in those movies. Like it's intelligent the way it does it.
I think it's good choreography and
Yeah.
good filmmaking.
I think it's an art form.
It is an
in
art
and
form,
of
yeah.
itself.
which I
Yeah.
think why those movies, because honestly, what is it? We had a friend of ours watch all of them. He hadn't seen them before,
Oh yeah.
and he like his cousins or friends wanted to go watch 4,
Mm-hmm.
so he had to do like a binge. He had to do like a marathon, and he's watching all of them. And then I talked to him after, and he's like, honestly, I can't remember which one's which. Like they're all kind of
They're
like
all
the
very
same.
similar, yeah.
Especially like those those sequences of him just like going off on sprees and like. But for some, like, it's just some things where it's like either he, like, particularly in John Wick movies, where he takes someone out in like an unconventional way. It's like, oh man, that's rough. Or he takes like a ridiculous hit, or he
Mhm.
falls from like an incredible height. Where it's like, it's somehow refreshing in a sense,
Yeah.
And something I really like about this, particularly the Wick movies, is that it's not necessarily. Some of the scenes have like a lot of cuts to them, but in some of the scenes they really like
They stretch it out.
They let it go, and I just love like those takes that just like are long. What's it called? They're kind of like drawn out,
Yeah.
and it takes their time, and it lets the scenes
like
breathe.
Daredevil.
Exactly like Daredevil.
The television series.
Yes.
On Disney Plus.
One of the things that I like about it is that it's fantasy, right? Because some of these things that is crazy. Like the scene that comes to mind that, man, this is crazy, but it can happen if it's, if you're that awesome, right? The Batman movie, the animated one,
Mask of the Phantasm?
No, it's one of the newer ones.
Sub-Zero. Oh wait, you not from the animated show?
No, not from the animated show. Under the Red Hood.
Yes.
There's this scene where I think someone throws a car at Batman. And remember that he just, as they're throwing the car, and he dodges it by going through the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, that's impossible. But that was so beautiful.
Okay, but you said it was possible.
It's in a sense like if you're,
I don't think it is.
If you're Batman, hey man, you never know.
I think it's impossible.
I don't know.
I don't think you can walk through a car as it's being thrown at you.
If you're Batman, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You can.
Fair. I think being Batman is possible.
Yeah, I don't think being Batman is possible, but
okay.
I guess what you're saying is theoretically, if you're
like theoretically,
super genius,
obviously,
able to calculate and also super physically fit.
I mean, that's what
enough to
that's what Vin Diesel does in all those movies, right?
Yeah,
perfectly timing jumps.
Yeah, he's basically Batman.
Exactly. But they're
that
beautiful.
one where he solves Letty's murder by like looking at all the
smelling,
clues.
by smelling the clues. Yeah.
He has detective mode.
He's Sherlock, yeah.
But he has detective mode on all the time.
But like these beautiful, like I can, it makes sense that you could do it, but you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole car thing with Batman. Oh, that makes sense. It's impossible, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, because you see a guy like fall off 3 stories, get up, and like crawl, like stumble away.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's impossible. But also, like, you hear crazy stories where things like that have happened.
Yeah, you aim for the bushes.
Thing is too is like, it's funny, like, I mean, going back to the Wick movies, is like, you've seen this guy do a bunch of impossible things.
It just keeps on getting more ridiculous.
But the parts that I find the most ridiculous, it's where he takes, like, he gets run over, like, 3 times by a car, or he falls from, like, a giant height. And, like, the CGI, whatever it is, they don't do him any favors. Like, it legit looks like he's falling with all of his, I don't know. It's just funny that, like, after everything that I've just seen, that's the fakest thing to me.
Yeah. Also, like, all the, like, the muzzle flashes and the blood spurts, is that all CG?
No, it's real.
They really kill people, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, they get boobs. They squish it. And he's...
Is all of that like post-production, or do
That's
they do like...
yeah,
sure.
Okay, interesting. What did they used to do before?
I'm not sure. I don't even know if they did it before.
Like blood?
Yeah.
I don't know about blood. But... they probably use practical effects. Just like spray, like
yeah, exactly, right? Okay. But going back, what were some of the memorable action heroes that kind of shaped your idea of what the action hero should be?
I mean, Arnold.
Just Arnold, the person. Arnold.
Did.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yeah, Stallone.
Anyone that's in the Expendables movies.
Bruce.
Right.
That's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah. Because it goes what? Like
Stallone.
Arnold was the Terminator. He was the, Dutch in the Predator.
Mr. Freeze.
I don't think he makes that elite list. Stallone was Rocky, Rambo. We've talked about Rocky before. Is that an action movie?
It's a sports movie.
Okay. So it's like its own genre.
It's its own genre of maybe action movies.
Right. But Rambo. And we talk about turning off your brain. If you ever watched First Blood, you guys have seen First Blood?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that movie is...
That's like one of... Not the latest one, but the one before the latest one?
No, that's the first one.
The first one, okay.
Yeah, the first one. When he's out.
Last Blood is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Last Blood is the latest one. Which is terrible. But First Blood is the one where he's coming back from the war, and then the sheriffs are picking on him, so he...
That's the one Caruso?
Yeah, so he's in the woods, and they're like trying to bring him in, and he just has like a PTSD breakdown. That movie's kind of deep. You know what I mean? It has something to say. So it's not always dumb. Like you said, Terminator 2. Why'd you mention Terminator 2 as something that's a little deeper than your typical action movie?
The plot, like, it's just a robot from the future sent to kill him, and then he has to protect him. I think, but also like the relationship between like a mother and a son, and it's just a really well made film.
Yeah. Other themes like the things that we create to aid us, do they destroy us in the end? And like, can machines ever feel? Which is something we're actually, I guess, exploring now.
Yeah, Wall-E.
Explain that.
Wall-E, man. Machines have emotions.
Okay.
Machines can find love.
Can they?
According to Wall-E.
Okay.
I believe it.
What are some other action films?
To me, modern action movies, the one I think of that's my favorite one of all time is The Raid Redemption.
Ooh.
I think that might be my favorite action movie of all time. It's a very simple plot. It's an Indonesian film where there's this cop and he gets called in because a gang, what do they do? They kidnap someone.
Yeah.
And like the SWAT team has to go up a building, just rescue that person. And that's it. Like each level, there's different people that
But
they
the
have to
building
fight.
is owned by like an evil criminal, like drug
Gang.
lord or something,
Yeah.
gang lorder, and then he basically rents out the building to criminals or just people that like just don't have enough. So he basically owns them.
Yeah. And the action scene is just beautiful. It's poetic. That's why those guys were in John Wick 3, and I feel like he pays homage to them, right? I was just recently watching that scene this past weekend, and I don't know, I just loved it.
Instead of being in the movies watching John Wick
Yeah, I was
4.
hanging out with friends,
Oh, okay.
so I couldn't really do that.
You couldn't be like, come on, guys, let's go watch John Wick 4.
No, because they just had
Because everyone had seen it already.
that day. Yeah,
Oh, man. And you were doing the Lord's work in Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, right?
Promoting the show.
Yep. Offer that one follower.
Hey, man.
All it takes is one.
If it's just one. So, for me, it was also like Bruce Willis,
Oh yeah,
Die Hard,
Yeah,
John
McClane.
McClane. Watching that every Christmas.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
I think you're supposed
Mr.
to
Falcon.
say. Yeah, Mr. Falcon. That's weird.
Or
Yeah, that's it.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, how?
Indiana Jones,
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. That's right.
Mm.
The second Jack Ryan.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Indiana Jones, it's true. You don't think about him as an action hero, but
I
yeah.
think about him.
He
as
kind
an
of
action
is.
hero.
Han Solo is kind of like that.
Yeah?
He's a badass.
He doesn't
Yeah.
use the Force.
That's true. That's true. And Indiana Jones, there's no, like, you could argue maybe Jack, well, no, you can't really argue Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan's pretty much of an action hero, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you'll argue Han, or what was the other example you gave for Harrison Ford? A Blade Runner, maybe be like, nah, that's more sci-fi, or though Deckard's a pretty good. But no doubt, Indiana Jones, like, pure action hero. And again, that first one's a lot deeper. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, some of these movies are really good movies, actually, if you really think about it.
I think the Expendables ones are the ones that like the big.
Yeah, they keep coming back.
Have you guys watched Walker Texas Ranger? That's action at its peak.
With Chuck.
My dad used to
With
watch
Chuck
it.
Norris, yeah.
They used to give it like before or after Raw.
Yeah.
Martial
on
arts
USA Network.
martial arts movies would be classified as action, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I think
Yeah.
Jackie Chan
Jackie
for
Chan,
sure is
yeah.
up there. Like Drunken Master, Rush Hour, the Rush Hour movies, all the other movies he's in.
Donnie Yen is in John Wick 4, but he was in I
Ip
believe
Man.
Crouching Tiger 2, Ip Man, Iron Monkey.
Donnie Yen, Jet Li.
Rogue One.
Yeah, Jet Li. I used to be obsessed with Jet Li. You know, and then there was that time where Jet Li was coming up, and then Jason Statham was coming up with the Transporter movies. I like Transporter
Didn't
1.
they fight each other?
Yes, they had a movie called and then I blanked.
What was that?
Enemy?
Oh, was it
1v1? War. That
War
was
is
it.
what it was called, right?
That movie made me a lot of money.
And then I think they fight again in Expendables.
How did that movie
Yeah.
make
Where they
you
work
money?
together or whatever.
It made me money because when Fast and the Furious, the first one came out, it was really big here in Miami. So I Chinese imported the Fast and the Furious, and I sold DVD copies for like $35. And I sold a bunch of them. I might have told the story before. But the follow-up story to that is that I didn't have, what was the next movie? And then the one, Oh no, it was the one. It wasn't War. It was the one with Jet Li came out, and since people got used to like, oh, I paid 35 to get this Chinese thing, they paid to get the one, even though they weren't as hyped for that movie. They were just
Oh wait, the ones like where he has to like protect someone. And
yeah.
I like that movie.
I like it too. Yeah, but it made me. I sold not as much copies as Fast and the Furious, but enough copies at like $30 a pop that I was like, yeah, the one. I love this movie.
What was the other one? The James Bond movies, I think. Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And that's a
also-
longer conversation. I think one day we're gonna do an episode
an
on
episode on
Bond.
James-
Yeah.
But who's your Bond?
Craig.
Really?
Grew up with Craig.
For
Like,
me, it's Connery.
the closest one I think is
Nothing.
even before that would be Pierce Brosnan.
Brosnan.
But,
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan is mine.
but I think those movies. I think the Craig movies are on they're on a different level, man.
Yeah, I think that's my trinity right there. I think it's Connery, and I know it's blasphemy because Roger Moore has like a lot of fans, and especially for your 70s and 80s. But I grew up on the Connery stuff. Not that I'm old enough, but my dad is. So those are the ones he showed me. He wasn't as much a fan of the Roger Moore ones. He still liked them. He had all of them. But he loved the Connery ones, and I agree. I think the Connery ones are super strong. But then I was growing up during the Pierce Brosnan ones, which are not as good. GoldenEye's awesome. Tomorrow Never Dies is good, and then the rest are not good.
I think they just get more
Ridiculous.
action.
Yes.
Movie.
Yeah. But what it is that like GoldenEye the video game, like they had another one that was just a video game. I forgot what it was called, but it was like a brand new plot with brand new Bond girls, and it was just a game, and that story only existed in that game. So it was like what I knew about Bond was Brosnan. You know, he just was the Bond, and Daniel Craig's. His movies are awesome. Those movies have their own critics, but
I love this movie.
yeah, I like them. The only one I didn't like at the time when it dropped was Quantum of Solace. But I think even in hindsight, it fits in the
Once you get the other movies that connect to it,
yeah. It's like a Marvel movie that maybe you didn't like at first, and then
it's
it
exactly like Age of Ultron.
yeah, exactly. Age of Ultron, Iron Man 2, or something like that. Yeah. So
And even those, like I guess those are
the superhero genre for
those are action movies, but they're like a different thing.
yeah. They're like their own subgenre, but yeah, they're action movies too.
Yeah.
And
I I think they might have taken, the place, I guess, for me of like, because I would watch action movies all the time.
yeah.
Bro, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, but okay, so that's what I was saying. In the 90s, we had a series of action stars that not all the movies were super good,
Yeah.
but they made a bunch of money. Van Damme. What are your Van Damme hits?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. It's on the same level. Bloodsport and Street Fighter.
Talk
the
about
movie.
lines. I just think of the line every time he's gonna get on his boat.
Yeah. And Street Fighter to me, I think might be the movie outside of Star Wars that I've bought it more times in my life. I don't know why that is. It's so strange. But Street Fighter's got he had a Time Cop. He had Double Impact.
Oh, I like Time Cop.
Yeah, Time Cop was an interesting premise. I think he had one with Dennis Rodman. Was it Double Impact, or was it Double Impact? Might have been the one with two Van Dammes, which was always a good '90s trope. Two of the same guy.
Was it that? Who was it in Demolition Man?
Demolition Man was Wesley Snipes.
And who?
Stallone.
And Stallone.
Yeah, that movie's funny. I like that movie. It was dumb, but I like that movie. I'll always remember Wesley Snipes' pants. Like they're like these white and black, like almost Beetlejuice striped pants. And I remember growing up, I was like, I want those pants. And back in those days, you couldn't just be like, I want those pants and go online and buy them. It would just be like, you would never see those pants ever. And you would just go the rest of your life, I want those pants. Like Jack Nicholson's pants in Batman '89 at the big parade where he pulls out the big gun from his trousers and they're like these plaid. Years later, like I was in high school. I saw them as a kid. When I was in high school, I found those pants like at a Marshall's and I was like, I need these pants.
Did you buy them?
Yes. And I just walked around in like plaid, like golf pants.
I ended up using those pants.
Did you?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah. For what?
I needed pants and I was at your house and I saw them. I'm like, were they green?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this looks. When you're in high school, you're trying to stand out, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure that's why you bought the pants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
Did you have a uniform in high school?
this wasn't for like an event outside,
Oh.
like not during school. I'm like, this is gonna make me stand out. So I wore them and they were really hot.
Yeah, they were really hot.
hot, yeah.
Because they were like suit pants. It's
They
basically
were,
like a fleece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I would take them off, it was like the bottom part of my body was in a sauna. But they made me stand out.
Yeah, that's what I felt like when I was eating hot ramen earlier today.
Mm.
But that's for a tale for another day. These modern heroes. What are some of the modern heroes, and how do they harken back to? Do you think they play as big of a role in like this generation or in our culture today?
They do, but I think the genre of action movie has moved on from just action to more subgenres in the sense that, like for example, superhero genre, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even heist movies.
Yeah.
Stuff like Fast and the Furious, whatever subgenre of
I
action.
believe the subgenre is racing heist, sci-fi, espionage.
Right?
Espionage.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've changed. Like I do think that maybe John Wick is like a modern time.
Like a
just
throwback, right?
A throwback of just action. You get me? And all these have, these other movies, subgenres have grown in popularity, and they're the ones that control the action movie market right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it is. Look at all the the MCU, right? Superhero movies,
Yeah.
MCU.
They became the go-to.
They became the go-to. Yeah, that's what's gonna make you money.
And they're more accessible too, because a lot of these action heroes growing up, even though we watched them when we were kids, like they're rated R, right? So technically you can't go watch them in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But these like Fast and Furious, Marvel superhero movies, they're PG-13, so the families can go watch them. You can sell a lot more tickets. Your market is a lot wider.
You just don't have to drop F-bombs.
Yeah. Well, you get one.
I do think that the plots got better in these subgenres.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but they get better. The action goes down a bit. You get me? You can't compare the action in an Avengers movie to a John Wick or I'm trying to think of another old movie with Ip Man. I don't know what it's called.
Ip Man.
Like those movies, the action there is amazing, right? In superhero movies, the action is good,
Yeah.
but the choreographies aren't as good. In fact, I feel like they gain inspiration from these movies that are just on action movies.
I think there's outliers too, though. There's like Rogue One. I think the action's good. The military action, the martial arts action.
Yeah, look at the Captain America one.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's like blade battles, like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Military
Fighting on the street. Yeah.
GSP.
GSP. That's right. If you get GSP, then the fighting
is gonna be good. Yeah.
Also, the integration of like UFC fighters or wrestlers.
That's right.
Into Hollywood and in films like that.
Like The Rock and John Cena and Batista.
Ronda Rousey.
Well, she's one of the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, she's one of
Yeah.
She's on the. I was gonna say the Wiz Khalifa. That's not right.
I think it is.
Is it? No, isn't that a rapper?
Oh, you're talking about the Burj
The Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, but I think that's the one with the Wiz Khalifa song at the end of the
Oh, okay, so it's fair. Is Mia what's that girl? No, she's not in that movie.
No, she's not.
Oh, okay.
Different type of action movie.
I wouldn't know. What makes a good action hero? What makes a bad action hero?
What would you say is a bad action movie?
I would say Triple X.
Triple X?
Starring Vin Diesel. I'm sorry. Man on Fire starring Vin Diesel would have been bad if it existed. I don't think he has the dramatic gravitas.
I guess just Vin Diesel.
Yeah, half of the Fast and Furious.
No, Pitch Black was good.
No, Pitch Black sucks. I hate Pitch Black.
Wait, which one's a good one? Is there no good one?
No, there's no good one. The Chronicles. The video game is good. Escape from Butcher Bay.
Maybe it's
What about the Chronicles of?
The Chronicles of Riddick is worse than
yeah.
Pitch Black. Yeah, some people like Pitch Black. So my opinion is, when I saw Pitch Black for the first time, I just laughed at the script.
I saw Chronicles of Riddick first.
I also.
This movie sucks.
Oh, really? You saw it first? Yeah. When I saw Pitch Black, it was also a Chinese.
It was on TV.
It was a Chinese import, so all the subtitles didn't make sense. So the movie was really funny.
Imports.
But still, the movie, yeah, was not a fan
Anything
of it.
Batman's in is great.
That's true. Batman's an action hero, right? Michael Keaton's an action hero. George Clooney's an action hero. No,
Bat nipples.
that is an action. Oh, we come full circle.
Yeah, back to
The Bourne movies are
The
The
Bourne
Bourne
movies
movies
are
are great.
fantastic. Yeah,
I think
even
I think what makes a good action movie is there's got to be, like you said, we usually turn off our brains for these movies, right?
Yeah.
But they're movies like the Bourne series where you get to turn on your brain,
yeah.
right?
No, I need another brain sometimes
Yeah.
'cause I can't follow.
You can follow, right?
You can't passively watch the Bourne
Yeah.
movies.
And the
You'll get
action, the
lost.
story, the plot is great. The action is great. I think when you have a combination of both of them, they're great. And if you're gonna have a bad plot, like the plot isn't gonna be as important to the action, then a simple plot like in the Raid Redemption, you're going up a tower to rescue someone, right?
Judge Dredd is like that
Judge
too.
Dredd, yeah, exactly. No, the
another
one with Carl Urban.
Dredd with Carl Urban. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have a great action movie, great choreographies, and a simple plot, I think you're great there.
That's the formula.
I think that's the formula.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can get
Jiggy with it.
jiggy with it by by making it a little bit more complicated. You getting a better plot. Obviously, that's good. That's better. But I don't think you need much.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your creativity comes from the choreography, you're gold.
Because
I mean,
that's still like, it's still,
that's the standard.
inspiring
Yeah.
to see. It's still like, it's interesting. And that's the thing. You don't need a lot.
You don't need
You keep it simple. You play into your strengths, and you give us like just a base, but just like good choreography, and like you don't really have to tell me like a lot of story
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, the John Wick movies aren't overly complicated.
Yeah.
You know?
They got like one basic story beat per movie.
Yeah.
Like Revenge, Part 1. Okay, Outstanding Debt, Part 2. I didn't rewatch 3 yet, so I don't remember what it
War.
was, but yeah, basically all out
Oh
war.
yeah, no, he has to. He kills Santino in the thing. He breaks the rules.
Yeah, he breaks the rules. That's right.
Consequences.
Consequences.
That's gonna play into what
Yeah.
you're gonna watch later.
That's a continued theme.
But yeah, as long as the choreography is like outstanding, creative, new, and you keep this plot simple, you have gold.
But I also think it's. I mean, I agree with that, but I also think it's. That same token, I think you can make a good movie with a pretty like a plot that makes you think, and I think Nolan does that very well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
I think
Every conversation comes back to Nolan with you.
I love him.
Personally, or?
If I knew him personally, I probably would, or maybe I'd hate him. I don't
Yeah, that's true.
know. Like Inception, like
You hate Inception?
I love Inception.
Oh, okay.
I gotta rewatch that.
Like Inception gets you thinking, but Inception has a lot of,
Section.
it has a lot of great action sequences. I enjoy the plot. Like I like the story, I like the themes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what at the end of the day, I think that's why I go back to Nolan films, is because like I grew up on a lot of his films, but I also think like he's a filmmaker that has a lot of themes that people can either relate to, or it's like you can just feel it in the film
Yeah.
just by watching it through the story, but also it also feels like Nolan enjoyed, like he is like that little kid that like is playing like on a playground, like crashing a jumbo plane into a building.
He's like, I'm really gonna do
and
it.
like building these sets that, and he commits, like he
Yeah.
builds these sets as like the revolving buildings and stuff like that. The Batman movies, yeah, I think it, like you said, play into its strengths, keep it simple, makes a great film,
And even going ridiculous is good too.
and going over the top, but also
Yeah.
like knowing what you're working with, not just being over the top just for excess or just for show.
Yeah.
But then I look at Tarantino movies
Mhm.
where it's just excess. You get me?
Which is so funny because they're like art house films,
Yeah, but
also
they're actually
yeah.
technically all action. Most
Yeah.
of them are action movies,
They're
right?
action movies, but I feel like a lot of them is just
But
like
the plot, like the dialogue in these action movies are, to me, they're beautiful.
yeah.
Like look at Inglourious Basterds, like that opening scene. I don't even know, is that an action movie? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think
as a
so. It's
story,
military warfare,
yeah, right? But that opening scene with Hans and Shoshana, like that's like it caught my attention like immediately.
Yeah,
And I think with Tarantino is he does that. He has great dialogue, right? Ridiculous action, right? Like some of the most ridiculous things you've seen ever. And man, it's a great plot.
I think for Tarantino's story carries a lot of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last like 20 minutes, he's like, I'm gonna go all out.
Yeah. He goes all out at some point. In Django, that last scene, right? Where where Django destroys everyone.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's just
Yeah.
like, oh wow, this is such a slow burn, like
Super slow burn. But
movie, and then it just goes off the rails completely.
That's what was, how was it like that? Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight was like that.
Hateful
Oh,
Eight
yeah.
just took a turn.
If that's what you call it, yeah,
Inglourious Bastard does the same thing in the movie theater
yeah.
thing.
What was one that? Oh, Baby Driver. I really enjoyed Baby Driver.
Oh yeah, I love that Tarantino movie.
And I'm just thinking like movies that are just
Oh, Kevin
Like
Spacey's
different
in
that
the
aren't
movie. I don't
necessarily
think
the
you're
fran-
allowed to like it anymore.
the franchise
Oh, don't
movies.
say that. I love Edgar Wright.
I don't know. That's because you didn't watch Last Night in Soho.
I think Edgar Wright does a good job combining action and comedy.
In Last Night in Soho.
That one I haven't seen.
Good.
Didn't have Simon Pegg or Nick Frost.
That's what the problem was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if they would have lightened up the mood. Going back to your question, I'm not sure we fully answered it. What are some bad ones? I mentioned Vin Diesel, but there's got to be others, right? What are some bad action?
Ooh, I'm trying to figure it out because I really don't.
Yeah, Link doesn't concern himself with terrible things.
That is true. That is fair. It was his question though.
Street Fighter.
Well, I guess Street. Yeah. So if
Street
we're talking
Fighter,
about the
yeah.
classics, yeah, it's a bad movie. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we're talking about the
Venom.
'90s. Some of those Van Damme movies. Steven Seagal. I don't think has a good movie. Even Out for Justice, which is like a
That's
record-breaking film. It's like it's not really good. You know.
T3. Salvation.
That's
Genesis.
right. More than half of the Terminator movies. Did you say Venom, Link? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
it wasn't. I was trying to think of that the bad movies.
So
you got.
bad, yeah, because there's bad comic book movies, bad video game
Game
movies,
movies, yeah.
bad zombie movies.
Daredevil, right?
Daredevil.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know.
I have a
Any of the Van Halen movies? I've never.
Van Halen
Van Helsing?
movie?
Van Helsing. I'm sorry. Van Helsing movies. I've never seen them, but
I didn't
are they
know.
are those good or are they bad?
I enjoy
thought-
them in an ironic way.
Wait, I'm sorry. There's multiple Van Helsing movies?
There's like 2, I think.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the second one called? Okay.
What about
Van
Resi-
Helsing.
I saw it on TBS or something.
Resident Evil? Like the newer ones, are those action movies? Action horror?
Yeah, I guess they're action horror. They are action horror because they're really not horror. Like they have horror elements, but they're more action.
I
than-
hear
Well,
those. I hear
uh,
those are bad.
What
They're
makes
really,
bad
They're really
movies?
bad. I've seen all of them like in the theater.
I think like, terrible acting.
Hmm.
Ridiculously stupid plot.
a bad script, man. That's
Yeah.
the
Bad
worst
script.
one.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. Go.
A bad script makes the movie fall apart immediately.
Yeah.
Like once you've been hit with 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, that's it. You've lost me and many people in the audience.
Yeah, bad dialogue is a killer. What else?
trying to think.
So just making bad movies
Now
with
talk-
action.
Avatar.
Oof, yes. Wait. Oh, you mean the James Cameron one?
Yeah,
No. I thought you meant Last Airbender.
that one too.
Okay.
Is that action?
I mean, what else would it be? Would-
A
Fantasy-
good action
fantasy,
movie.
fantasy.
Sonic 2.
Sonic. That's fair. That's fair. Sonic 2. How do you think these action movies shape our culture? How do you think they influence?
Aside from pop culture references, I think especially back in the day, I think there was an era of like masculinity
Yeah.
attached to these, bravado,
Mhm.
machismo, and I guess that's why there's just like this stereotype where older dads. That's a movie like an older dad would watch. Like my dad would watch. Like not my dad, but like someone else's, like a dad that grew up in that time
Right.
or like was that age around that time. Like they would like that, because I know that we see movies and I tell, like, you asked me, oh, how was this movie, and I was like, I think Grandpa would like it,
Yeah.
and that's how we gauge it,
The Equalizer too.
Yeah, and I mean Pedro Pascal's in it, so yeah.
He's the best part, but
Denzel Washington.
see, because he's okay. Here's the thing, and just a side note, go back to what you're saying. John Wick 1 is like a really simple movie, and I think John Wick 1 was good because it was like this movie had no right to be as good as it was, and then it escalates all throughout the series. It's like, okay, we made a good movie. let's get crazy with it. Equalizer was the same thing. Like, oh, here's a simple, like slow, dramatic, like action movie with a small set. And then 2 didn't go big enough. It was just like, let's make a sequel to that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the Wick movies all get better.
I think they get bigger, and that's what the heart of those movies are. So yeah, I agree with you. I think each one's better than the one before.
But I think, and it's not even plot. Like I don't really care
Yeah.
what's going on. Like I understand what you're doing, and it's like, yeah, okay, fine, but they know what they have,
and the plot is an excuse for the fighting to keep going. That's really what it was.
Yeah.
Like, just give me one more problem so that we can fight for 90 to 100.
That's the thing. I watched those movies a lot this weekend, and I'm just like, aside from you're the 31st person to go up against the Wick in the 5-minute span. What makes you think? What makes you think?
Everyone thinks they're the
that
one.
You're the main character and you're gonna kill this guy that has killed 30 of your pals.
You know what? That person's parents told them that they could be whatever they want.
They
can achieve their dreams.
You know what? That person got a participation trophy.
Yeah,
and look where it ended up.
Yeah,
and you know that's just that's a lesson. Don't give kids participation.
Don't encourage your kids to do
because they will participate
to chase their dreams.
Yeah.
Because when you chase your dreams, John Wick kills you.
You heard it here first.
Don't be a henchman.
Don't be a henchman. Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt. So you were saying? That's it? That was the end of your thought?
Where was I? What was I saying?
You're just that guy that he thinks he's going to be the one to kill John Wick?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, I think it's just funny to me. It's like, there's just 50. Like, I try to keep in count of like how many people he kills in 4.
He was whispering to me during John Wick 4. He was like 3. 15.
I got to like 19. I got to like 27, and then I couldn't tell if the people were dead or not. He was just knocking them out. And
I told you, count them, bro. If they're a body on the ground, count them.
So I did that, and then I couldn't.
Just lost count.
Yeah.
It's just a body on the ground. Count them.
That's how.
Because I was getting mixed
That's
up.
how
too.
Legolas and Gimli would have counted
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Because I was getting confused too, because there was like other characters that were killing people, so I was like, okay, don't count them, but you gotta kill them, but I gotta count.
Yeah, if you swing at John Wick and he takes your arm and you accidentally machete the guy that's on your team,
counts as any point of contact that John Wick has in you, it counts as a body kill.
So,
what was your
body
question?
count. I think the original question was how these characters influence us and our culture.
I mean, there's something cool about these people, right?
Yeah, they're just people of badass.
Yeah, you want to be like them, right?
Do you think there's a level of escapism too, though? Because like you want to be like them, but you don't actually want to be like them.
Yeah, like you want to say you don't want to be Scarface, but you want to be Scarface, right?
Gabe has his doubts about
Maybe
that.
somebody else, maybe not Scarface, but
a lot. Scarface has influenced a lot of the
But because the thing is, I think you want to buck the system, right? And you want to see them get theirs. You know, the people in power, the people who abuse, the people who, and you're like, it's not gonna happen. But for 90 to 2.5 hours or however long the latest one is, almost 3, like they're gonna get theirs and they deserve it.
I think it's also like a certain part of, going back to Scarface, maybe not John Wick, but there's escapism in the point of like, oh, just seeing how this person like acts or lives their life or goes like they do certain things. Like, yes, like most of the time it's end up like, taking other people's lives, but it's also just like this air badass is that, I'll do whatever I want. Like,
you're unruly.
You want to come fight me, I'll take you on. I'm not scared of anything.
Yeah.
And I think, people gravitate toward that. They gravitate towards people without fear. And I think a part of them like wants to be like not like a serial killer, but like a person that can defend themselves, a person that, there's something like if their lives were ever in danger, like they'd want to be able to handle themselves. Or I don't know. That's that. And then just like you're badass. Like it's like Batman. Like who doesn't want to be like Batman? I don't want to be Batman.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely tragic. Like
I don't want my parents to die.
Like if you think about the situation a lot of these action heroes are in. If you think about the situation a lot of these actors, like these characters are in, it's like put yourself in that situation. You have a whole city trying to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
I'd be man. I died with the first villain they sent at me.
I thought about that while I was rewatching John Wick 2, because it was like he's like a one-man army and he doesn't care and he doesn't play by the rules and he's consumed by vengeance. And I was like, bro, this is a Punisher movie.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. And then like John Wick, I'm like John Wick, Man on Fire. Who's another one? There's another. Oh, Taken. these are movies that I was always like, man, this is just like what a Punisher movie should be. And I don't. They tried so many times, and I feel like they just kept failing. We finally got a good rendition of that in the Punisher series and in Daredevil
like
again.
Tom Jane's Punisher, the first one.
I like Tom Jane's Punisher, but it's a PG-13 movie that takes place in Tampa and Puerto Rico. Like it's not quite the Punisher I was looking
Who
for.
are the villains? Like retirees?
Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta and
Nash.
and Kevin Nash. Yeah, which Kevin Nash is in John Wick, by the way. I had
He is.
forgotten
I
that.
remember. I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's actually a star-studded cast, and I was rewatching John Wick 1 and 2. I had forgotten that.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I had forgotten Willem Dafoe. I had forgotten John Leguizamo.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot
The Greatness of Common.
what's her name? Adrian
Adrian
Palicki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Common. I like Common. I'm a Common supporter, by the way. I was really into Common when his music first came out, and then he got into acting. I love Selma. I really wanted him to be Jon Stewart in the Green Lantern movie that got canceled or shelved. I think he was gonna be in that
Justice
animated Justice League. Yeah.
As
movie.
John Stewart?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see that.
Yeah. Remember, it was supposed to be like a CGI. It was by George Miller, the director of Mad Max, and it was like live action CGI. It was like mocap.
Idris Elba would have made it good.
I think Idris Elba.
Oh,
Yeah,
Idris Elba would have been
made it
good. Yeah, that would have
Jon
been
Stewart.
good. Yeah, remember that? What's his name?
I thought Denzel would have been a good John Stewart. Like maybe a young Denzel.
Yeah, young Denzel, but
Son could do.
ooh, not
Oh.
Isaiah Washington, the guy from the Old Spice commercials.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, that is who that is.
Is that
Oh, you
his
never
son?
know who I'm. No, that's
I know
not
I
his
do
son.
because you say it, but I just always think it's Isaiah Washington is the one from Drumline.
It's Nick Cannon.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
his
pretty sure it's
teacher.
McKenna,
His
man.
teacher.
Is it not
I
the
don't
Old Spice guy
I don't
too?
remember his name. That's not the Old Spice guy.
I don't know. Maybe you're right.
No, it's not because I've checked this before.
Isaiah Washington wanted to be Luke Cage too before they cast the guy from Halo.
Oh, what is that guy up to?
He has a show on Paramount Plus, I think. You should know.
Saw him in
You pay
something.
for it.
What show is it?
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
I
He's
think-
like a minister that may or may not kill people. I'm not sure. He's like a priest. Link is yawning or thinking?
No, I'm yawning.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I know. I do think that Denzel's son's name, Ricky Jarrett. What's his name?
Ricky Jarrett. It's John David Washington.
John
I think
David.
that guy should play.
The protagonist.
I think he should play. John Stewart.
Yeah, if they ever have the guts to adapt Jon Stewart to live action,
Get
we'll see
him-
about that. Give us a space cop,
Yeah.
buddy cop comedy.
get
What are they
him-
doing
Get him.
now?
Get Aaron Taylor Johnson to play Hal Jordan.
Primeval? Is that the name of the show that Luke Cage is on?
I have no idea.
Okay. Speaking of buddy cop
Orlando Jones is who I was thinking.
comedy. Okay. That's not Isaiah Washington at
No, I saw what Isaiah Washington does.
all. Speaking of buddy cop comedy, Rush Hour.
I love Rush Hour. Rush
You-
Hour 4.
You know what's really funny? What? They're making Rush Hour 4?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really? How much is Chris Tucker making? Like $50 million?
Probably.
I do wonder. Those movies, they're hilarious. Did they age well?
No, I don't think so. If you go back and watch
They
them.
don't, right?
Although,
Really?
well, I don't know because I think they probably have some jokes that are like wouldn't be acceptable
I
now.
love
yeah.
those movies.
I kind of personally feel now. I'm gonna like. I guess this is might be a hot take for some. I kind of feel like you're like frozen in time. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I get that that's not funny, but like, now it's not funny now. Like you can't just like retroactively be like that's not appropriate.
Yeah,
No?
like I don't know, and that's why those movies relied on that type of humor. I don't know how you make a Rush Hour 4. in
I mean, you
today's
just
age.
write it with today's. Like you make it sharp. You gotta modernize.
I think you could do it.
Yeah. Like
Is it gonna be as
The thing is,
funny?
I don't think, especially with them, I don't think they'd do something that. Do you think they would? You think they'd come back for something that wouldn't be worth it?
if you pay me $50 million, Chris Tucker gets paid like $10 extra million every time they make a new Rush Hour movie, which is unfathomable to me, but it is what it is.
It's still. I'm still surprised Jackie can move.
I asked. Actually, he retired from film, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He did.
Yeah.
He had like his last movie. Or
Yeah, it was like
something
a
that.
war movie, right? And like,
Wait, but
I
he's
don't
back.
know.
But he's back.
Yeah,
is it?
no, it was like a.
The one with him and his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's back.
That was both like the same year.
Who was the villain? Not Kilmer. Pierce Brosnan was.
of
That
that movie? I haven't seen it. It's on Netflix.
I didn't finish it.
But he's back
I
though.
did finish it.
But
It was
he's
good.
coming back, I guess. You know what's funny?
It's Rush Hour. He's gonna come back.
We came back from spring break, and I asked all my students, "Hey, how was your break? Did you see any good movies?" And they were like, "Yeah, I saw John Wick. It was awesome." And someone was like, "Oh, we saw Shazam. It was really good. It was fun." And then one kid was like, "I saw Rush Hour." And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, I never seen it. It
Did
was
you enjoy
good."
it?
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, I watched all 3 of them. They're great." And I was like, "That's fair."
No, I'm happy for that student.
Yeah.
I think he had the
It
most.
was her.
Fun.
It was she, actually.
I think she had the most fun out of.
Yeah, out of it, right? It's better than Shazam, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're better than John Wick,
I don't
but you
think-
enjoy those movies a lot.
Yeah,
Especially if you're watching them with family.
Yeah, and to unearth that, as in, like, I missed out on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hope that person's now going through a phase where all they watch is Chris Tucker movies.
You know what I really love too?
The Fifth Element.
The Fifth
When
Element.
they
It'll
used-
unlock her mind.
When they used, that's another great one.
You know, and when you go back and watch those old movies, it's like buried treasure. It's
Yeah.
You can go to a store and buy something nice and new, but like anybody can get a pair of Nikes, right?
Yeah.
But nobody can find something unearthed. You know what I mean?
Vintage.
Yeah. And as you're saying,
When they used to do those like bloopers at the credits.
yes.
Oh, those are so good.
And it's like you just saw like it doesn't have to be a serious movie, but a lot of times it would be serious movies, and then like it's just like the scene breaks down when someone messes up, and it's just like I enjoy that the
In fact,
contrast.
the bloopers in Rush Hour.
In Rush Hour, some
Yeah.
of the
Are some of the
funniest,
funniest
man.
And I would just watch all the bloopers. Like,
My favorite
if you
bit.
give me a movie with just the bloopers,
Yeah.
I'd be perfect.
Really?
I'd be like, bro, this give
That'd
me
be
this.
interesting, actually. That'd be an interesting experiment. My favorite bit from the Rush Hour bloopers is the running joke where they get their names mixed up.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think it was a Rush Hour 1. Jackie just kept saying, no, I don't remember who did it first. I think it was Chris Tucker,
Yeah,
actually.
he calls him Jackie.
Yeah, he calls him Jackie. He's like, let's go, Jackie. And then, I don't know why I did the voice. I apologize. But, but then,
That's his voice.
and then yeah, and then in the next movie, no, because then you have to do the Jackie one, and I'm not gonna do that one.
Kata.
Well, there you go. Then he would go out of his way to be like, okay, Chris Tucker, and then
He does do that.
Yeah, he does.
Because when one of them does it, the other one just plays along.
yeah,
with it.
exactly. And then they just like answer
Just a
back.
giant
They just ruin
game
the
of
scene.
yes and.
Like this, because this scene is ruined already, so they just go ahead and just name each other.
That's the thing. They keep filming this.
Yeah,
They keep going with it.
yeah,
What's
The gefilte fish. They
yes,
just kept messing
Dang,
up.
now I just want to rewatch those movies.
yeah.
Which is your
Or,
favorite
or the
Rush Hour?
bloopers at least.
Or the bloopers.
What's your favorite one?
What's my favorite one?
I haven't seen them in a
I
while.
haven't seen them in a while.
So I can't really say.
I
There's
want to
two.
say 2. Yeah, I want to say
There's
2.
two.
Because it was like Rush Hour 1 was great, and then like 2 was awesome, and then 3 was like, oh, okay, we made a third one, and like that's cool.
I still liked it.
Yeah, I still liked it too.
I remember going to the theaters and watching that, and I was like, I'm still watching.
Because it was like one of those movies where you're like, oh, I'd rather this movie exist than not exist.
Yeah, it
you
was
know
a
what I mean?
summer movie, and
Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that, like Men in Black International. Just kidding.
Will Smith's another action hero.
Will Smith is an action hero.
Yeah.
I don't think we talk about him. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think he's completely blacklisted, but
Talk about them. Yeah.
yeah. But what are some of his like defining roles?
I Am Legend, I think. Is
I Am Legend. I love that
The
movie.
movie's
Yeah.
great, even with the alternate endings.
Slapping,
Even with the fact that Kiva Goldsman wrote the screenplay. Anyways,
slapping Chris Rock.
that is not
Defining
no,
role,
that was-
moment
He's
in
an
his
action
life.
hero.
Defining moment in his life.
That was
Also,
his
that Chris,
villain
okay. Side note: that Chris Rock special is hilarious.
Bruh.
that's an action
He
hero.
ate
right
him
there.
up, bro.
Not even that. I think like he was. I don't even think he was. He was direct, but he wasn't like
Yeah, he's still. I
I think he went.
I think he
soft.
handled it. Yeah, really.
I think he handled it well
yeah,
as a comedian. Like obviously,
he could have gone way
Yeah, it
harder
could've been
on him.
worse.
Yeah, yeah.
that massa bit.
What did you say?
The massa.
Oh yes, that was
I was
okay.
like, dang.
That was bold.
That was.
Go
I mean,
watch
you
that.
can say it, but
Yeah, he could say it,
but it was so good.
but
I was
we
like,
can't say
yeah,
it.
but it was,
Yeah,
what was it?
Um,
Master.
yeah. No, I'm saying like that.
Oh,
just
the repeat.
wha-
Yeah, we can't repeat.
like it's okay, but it's like that's the line.
But
like
that was
yeah,
so good when he's. Dang, I
Yeah.
couldn't like.
yeah. Link couldn't take his nap. That's how
was
funny
like,
it
it
was.
woke
And
me
for
up.
Link to not take his nap,
It woke me up, man. But that was good.
How do you think action movies change the way that we view film as a whole?
I think the movies that get creative and can bring forth like that dynamic of, either great choreography, great stunts, with a a good plot, good visuals, and good filmmaking. I think that pushes that medium instead of it just being having the the reputation of like turn off your brain.
Mm-hmm.
As dumb hunky action, just men just like killing each other, fighting each other, and explosions.
Yeah.
I think that type of stuff, I think you can, like, the John Wick movies is just a great example of that. Like, I know we keep coming back to that, but like,
I mean, that's the reason we're having this conversation.
that and the Mission Impossible movies, I think are great, and those movies get better. I think each one.
Yeah.
And
I think Ghost Protocol might be my favorite.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're so intertwined with one another. It's like one big movie. It's like a series,
Yeah. And I also think like I think commitment too, especially with people like Tom Cruise, who commits to these pieces, like actually doing these ridiculous stunts and like, pushing to see things in theater. Like my favorite movie last, Top Gun. Like,
yeah.
it's just, I think once like, because I think filmmaking is an art, and once you can mix that in with like that type of genre, for me, I'm your target audience. Like for me, like I grew up watching action movies and I love them. I love spy movies. I love like big action set pieces. That's like really what I grew up on. It wasn't until I got older I started watching more films that may actually make you think.
Yeah.
So it's like once you like get into a point where like they combine the two, that's like just a match made in heaven.
Where the action movie makers were like, maybe we can make real art, or where the artists are like, maybe we can implement some of the stuff that like audiences love, and it's kind of not shamed. It's kind of shaped the way we view film, because we live in a world where, for example, just this year, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, even Avatar 2, nominated for Best Picture. Even those audiences or those critics that used to hold such a standard are open to nominating films like that, which are action heavy, right?
Yeah, and I think Avatar's a great example of that. Like, I mean, I have like my criticisms of, like that, like especially Avatar 1.
Yeah, you specifically stayed at home during the Oscars episode because you refused to talk about anything but
because I would have been
how much you
because
hate
it's like
Avatar.
I feel like there was like not so many. I think there were other options that clearly should have been nominated, but I mean that's again like
Batman.
Yeah. But at the same time too, it's like I do understand that like there's like a lot of hype around it, and like it's an achievement in filming.
It is.
I
really
get
is.
that. So it's like I can see why. Just because I'm frustrated doesn't mean I'm gonna negate that. But I think that's a great example. It's like you either you have the technology, you have the filmmaking that pushes the bounds, and I think that's good for film. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah. Especially in a year where like we criticize some of the visual effects in other movies, Avatar's like raising that bar. Like this is the expectation when a movie looks that good. But not only that, it's just a win for us for that conversation to open up to include movies like that. People wouldn't discuss movies like Blade Runner 2049 or anything like that. Or even like The Batman, it didn't get nominated, but these kind of movies are in the conversation, and some of them will be nominated, some of them will be recognized in other ways, but for film to just be film and let every film stand on its own merit regardless of genre.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before we wrap, are we gonna talk about John Wick with that? Is Link gonna dip or?
I'll dip.
Okay, but before we do that, let's get your top action heroes. What are your top action heroes of all time? Characters, not actors. So when you said Arnold and Stallone, they don't count.
They don't count.
Yeah. What characters are your all-time action heroes?
That's hard.
Levi Ackerman for me is one of those. I don't know. It's funny. It's true.
Is that real? That's a real.
Yeah, I love Levi Ackerman.
But he's like a villain though.
Levi?
Oh, Levi. I'm sorry. I'm
What did I
sorry.
say?
Yeah, I thought you was
No, I think
Aaron Yeager.
No, I didn't say Aaron.
I don't know why.
Aaron
I'm
Yeager's
sorry.
a baby, bro.
Oh, okay. And that's why I was
Aaron
like,
Yeager
you.
would get destroyed by
not
Levi.
no superheroes, right?
Nah, let's
I know,
focus
the
on like
action-
straight action heroes. But sure.
I think Bond.
Just Bond the character. all throughout his iterations. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's iconic.
Bond, Hunt.
Who?
Ethan
Ethan
Hunt,
Hunt.
the Mission
Oh.
Impossible films.
You said Hunt, and I thought of Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie Hunt.
Bondi Hunt.
I think the anime genre has a lot of great
Spike.
action heroes.
Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Spike. What's the last name?
Eagle.
Spike Spiegel.
Spike Spiegel. So, the one portrayed in the Netflix series?
No.
Okay. You said you think anime has a lot? What are some other anime heroes, Link?
That are the action heroes?
Yeah.
Like I said, me, like Levi, Mikasa. You get to really see that badassery in anime. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, the fighting scenes in anime.
Anime, yeah.
Gojo.
Yeah, Gojo.
Gojo.
Toto and
and Itadori.
and Yuji
Any-
versus
any-
versus the plant.
Anyone in freaking Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got Naruto, right? You guys watch Naruto? All those fight scenes are pretty epic, right? They inspired some of the fighting in Naruto and Dragon Ball Z inspired Creed, right?
Yeah, that's fair. But those characters have powers. Like, if we're saying not the superheroes, I kind of feel like those like jujutsu, like ninjutsu type characters are kind of in that supernatural realm. I think, like you said, Levi is a good example because he's like a man on a mission. He fights a supernatural force, but he's just a guy. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, Batman, even though he's a superhero and we're going to shelve him for now, he kind of trickles into that because he's just the dude.
Batman, Daredevil, Punisher.
Yeah,
like,
those real life characters. For me, the 80s ones are really big. And I like, even though he is more than a man, RoboCop is a big one for me. That's an action movie, right? It's kind of sci-fi too, but I don't know. He's just a cop with a rifle, and robot legs. But RoboCop's a big one. I love Rambo. Almost every Rambo movie is good.
McClane.
John McClane, until he loses all his hair. And then all of a sudden his movies are super ridiculous. But yeah, that original trilogy, especially with a Vengeance, because I love Die Hard, and that one's obviously the best one. But With a Vengeance was very special with me because of the bad guy and the riddles, and that one came out when I was about the age to be able to watch it. When I watched Die Hard, it was an older movie already. But when With a Vengeance came out, it was like, this movie's for me right now. So McClane, like those traditional heroes, and obviously like the Terminator, who was also sci-fi. I like robot heroes apparently. Yeah, so I'm not gonna poo-poo on your Levi Ackerman because I got 2 cyborgs on my list.
The giant action hero. I mean, Wick.
Wick.
I think
And
Wick is a modern.
I think
right?
it surprised me how much, like, because I saw the list. I saw someone's list of like modern.
Oh
action
yeah, you
heroes.
sent
We were
that to me.
talking
That's
about that.
right. Yeah.
And Wick was his number 1, and it's like it's kind of like interesting to me, thinking like because it's happening now, we're living in that moment,
exactly.
and it's so modern that it's like Wick is on so many people's lists, like it's superseded so many of the action movies before, and like some consider it one of the best action movies ever.
Which is crazy because like, I mean, I'm not. At the moment I can't think about it, but he is the only one from, like, not the only one, but he's the most popular one right now in this.
Who could you even
Because
compare?
like
Bro, just think.
Because look at the
rattle off
80s.
Fortnite characters.
Okay.
Bro.
Because look at 80s. Because look at the 80s.
Most of them are 80s characters.
No, because look at the 80s. That was saturated with action movies. Right?
Yeah.
Now, who do we have in our day other than John Wick?
Because it's just superheroes at this point.
It's just superheroes at this point, right?
yeah.
John Wick is the only one, which makes sense to put him as the number 1
Right.
because he stands out compared to everyone else.
I mean, you have guys like Toretto, but it's like almost a joke.
yeah,
at this
no, you
point.
can't take that serious.
And even The Rock, like The Rock plays a lot of action heroes, but
No,
it's
but
like
they're not. Is the
they're
action
not
good?
yeah, exactly.
No, it's just him being, using his muscles.
It's like adventure action movies.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like murder action movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not adult action.
yeah.
I guess you could say rated R.
I mean, good for him. He makes movies for teenagers.
Yeah.
I would say, Daredevil, like the Netflix.
I
Netflix
also
series.
think like
It's
how
not a
we make
Netflix
how we
series
make
anymore.
Netflix Disney Plus series.
how we make strides. I think in the TV medium, I think that's where the new stars of action are coming in. I think that's where the big stuff. Like there was this show watching on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it. But like you said, Daredevil, Frank Castle. Frank Castle.
Yeah,
was one of
Frank
those
Castle,
characters.
man. In the 80s, Dolph Lundgren. In the 2000s, Thomas Jane? This was 2000 already, right? And then, who's the guy that plays him now?
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal's great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great actor to play him. But yeah, to me, like I can see why he's number one because he's the only one that stands out in this generation.
Yeah, for sure. And even some of those older heroes have kind of sullied.
Yeah,
They're epic, RoboCop, McClane, and Rambo, but they've gone to the well so many times with bad sequels that it's like they didn't sustain. It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like what their first couple of chapters, if even that, at first. But Wick has had a powerhouse series.
But that's the thing. It's like if you can maintain that and you push the bounds of what it is, because it's like that's so interesting about the Wick movies. It's like I feel like I've seen not the kind of like similar things where it's just like similar set pieces, but they always find a way to make it refreshing.
Yeah.
And like I guess we'll get into it once Link steps out for a bit, but
So why don't we do that ever so briefly? Link, you can go ahead and take this.
I guess.
Conversation.
Do you have a good day?
Thank
is
you
he coming
for,
back in for the sign off?
I don't know. Are you just gonna go home?
I'm gonna
You're
go
just gonna
home.
walk out.
All right, you don't want me.
You want to sign off for us, and then we won't post production move it, but everyone at home just pretend that he says this at the end of the episode.
Have a good day, guys. I think you're awesome. Peace, love, no violence. That's the way to live life. Getting off my bike?
Yeah, go ahead. No violence, he says. That's funny.
We're about to talk about extreme violence.
If only John Wick would listen to that advice.
Spoilers incoming.
If you have not seen John Wick 4, we're gonna have a very brief conversation.
Once again, spoilers incoming.
All right, Leani,
This one's for you.
go ahead. Take it away.
All right, some of the pieces are just hilarious. Like him falling down the stairs, like after killing everybody.
It doesn't even make sense, by the way, because there's like a flat piece in the middle that would have totally stopped his momentum.
No, because you could clearly see Keanu is literally just throwing himself off of these stairs.
I don't think it's Keanu, but
I like to think it's Keanu.
I mean, it's clearly a stunt guy. The way he falls, because I was just watching John Wick 2, and they have a stair scene, and I was like, oh, that's bad. And then I instantly thought it went 5 times longer in John Wick 4. Like he literally went.
And that's the thing I really enjoy about the Wick movies is like they don't cut things short. They let things play out. And it's like you think, man, this is like I wish like there's so many times where I wish certain scenes would last a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just cut and the scene ends. Wick extensively plays their action sequences, and they do like that. My favorite part of the franchise is the bird's eye view of him clearing the rooms with the dragon's breath shotgun.
Yeah,
I thought that was beautiful.
I think that's the that's what it's called, Dragon's Breath shotgun. Like that's an
The
official
dragon's breath rounds.
Okay, that's what it's called in Fortnite. And
That's what it's called in Call of Duty.
Okay, cool. That was the set piece of the film. That was the high
It
point.
was amazing.
And I would argue, and this might be crazy because I'm high off of just seeing it, but it's the high point of the entire series, I think.
No, I agree. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
that was the crowning. It's like, it was beautiful. It was perfect. Its length was perfect, and I just think it encapsulated everything about the franchise. I think unique cinematography, camera work, the lighting in these movies are incredible.
I love the use of color too, and it's like consistent throughout the series. And it even like trickles into the marketing, like the posters for
Yeah,
them.
and it looks cool. It's like I want to watch this. I want to see what this is about.
It draws you in.
The scenes where like they fight through clubs and like
In every single film.
and everyone's like, it just reminds me of like Batman when he's fighting people in clubs. Like that seems to be like a staple in these action movies. Like
because it just makes such a good like a crowd of people, the lighting,
you get
everything.
an excuse to put that music on.
Yes,
where it's
the
like-
music
it's
makes
like
sense in
it
the real
makes sense.
world.
When he fights, what is it, Scott Adkins?
Scott Adkins did great in this movie. I had no idea it was
You
him.
couldn't tell. Some
He plays the penguin.
level Some penguin level makeup right there, man.
Yeah, I wonder if they were like inspired or if they had this plan, because I know this movie got delayed because of the pandemic in production and release, and I wonder if they saw the Batman and they were like, "Darn it! Like we had that was our idea. We got Scott Adkins. They got Colin Farrell. They beat us."
Yeah,
But Scott Adkins did great.
He did great because I was like, I mean, we couldn't even tell that was him.
No. When he started karate kicking John Wick, I was like, "Who's this guy?"
Because the guy's like in a big suit. I get like, he has like a lot of weight on him. So it's like the guy moving around. I'm like, oh my god.
He was like a penguin kingpin hybrid.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I was like, you can definitely do Kingpin like this. Like,
great job, Scott Adkins. I forgive you for being the Deadpool in Wolverine Origins.
What else was it, man? Just the what is it? The rivalry between the three of them, Donnie Yen, the stuff like the
triumvirate.
I always forget his name. The Japanese guy that's super cool that we love.
Ooh.
Hideo Koshima, I think his name. I forgot.
Oh yes. Okay, because you said the rivalry, and it was like, I wish he would have been in the movie more, but yes.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome, man.
And Donnie Yen was awesome too, man. Like, what two great picks. I mean, and Scott Adkins is a great pick too. The casting for these action hero like foils, partners, villains, the whole thing, it was so good. Because you know what? You run the risk of focusing on John a lot for this final chapter, or if it is, whatever it is. But they open the world up even more, which is what made John Wick 2 cool. Because the first one was like the small story, revenge plot. And then 2 is like, here's a world. And then 3 is like, here's a universe. Yeah. And they just keep expanding that world. And I love it.
And I also think once you get people like that, it's like, yeah, they're playing this character and has no relationship. But the reputation of this actor and what their body of work obviously follows them into this film.
Yeah.
Like Donnie Yen is, an action legend, and from all the films that he's done. As well as who was the one in 2?
In 2, I know he's at the girl that played Batwoman on the CW TV show, Ruby Rose. She's in it. Who else does he? Oh, Common. He fights Common in 2.
Yeah, there's the guy that I didn't really know. From 3.
From 3, the bald guy.
Mark Dacascos.
Yeah.
He's like a karate and kung fu champion, world champion. And like,
what are some of his other credentials?
He's in Hawaii 5-0.
Was he in Gotham? Is he the guy who plays Zaz in Gotham or no?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm getting him confused with. Oh no, that's actually NoHo Hank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of?
He's in Drive.
Drive, yes.
That's what he's in.
There we go.
But stuff like that, and I think like it's really cool to get.
I'm sorry.
The guys from the Raid.
Yes.
Because like Link was saying,
all those guys from Star Wars.
The Raid, Kanji Club. The Raid is honestly one of the best action movies. I think like
it's so good. It needed 2 titles right off the bat: The Raid, Redemption.
And that like if you ever get a chance to watch that, I mean, if you get someone that's squeamish with like blood and stuff, probably not watch it with them. It is intense, but it is probably
2 was even more intense, and it was more. It lost me.
Yeah, it's probably the best choreography you'll see in a fighting film.
Excellent.
But like I said, John Wick is like is that, but like with more money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another.
And
thing,
more Keanu Reeves.
Like I was saying about like I really enjoy like beyond the film. It's like when the people that are creating this stuff really commit to it. Like Keanu Reeves is doing most of these stunts,
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it. He's not doing, I mean, I guess he's not falling off the stairs and stuff, but he's doing the takedowns. He's, grappling and then doing a lot of the action stunts.
At this point, Keanu Reeves is a dangerous human being in real life, right? After the Matrix and the John Wick movies and I don't know what else.
And even now you think about it, it's like
Ronin.
John Wick, I mean.
Whatever number.
This is exactly a good example. Keanu Reeves, like, he's a movie star from before, but it's like you think it's like the Matrix is like one of the big things like that he's from, or Point Break.
Point Break, man.
And
one of my favorite movies.
But he's John Wick to this generation.
Fight me. Yeah, he is John Wick. Yeah.
And John Wick has solidified his place as like one of the top action stars of all time, I think. And I'm interested to see where they go with that ending.
One of my favorite compliments one time was when I was a little thinner and my hair was longer. Someone was like, "I'm sure you look like John Wick." And I was like, "Oh, you just made my day, maybe my year."
Punch him right there.
And then I just stabbed him through his Kevlar vest, and it did nothing.
That's also funny too. Like they can get away with like bulletproof suits.
Can I be honest with you? I did not love the
going this.
yeah,
side all
like
the
doing
time.
like this. Like this is blocking bullets with. I don't think that's how that would work, but
No, him getting hit by the cars was.
yeah.
Well, he fell off of something too.
He fell off multiple in the club. He falls off like a second story and
he
hits,
lands on his back.
Yeah.
Oy.
and then he jumps off like the third story of a building, in the right before the stairs.
And he just walks it off.
Yeah,
He falls down all those stairs.
Ay. Let me tell you, like 3/4. Actually, I remember halfway through the movie, I was like, "This one's the best one because it's the most realistic." And then the second half of the movie happened, and I was like, "Erase my previous comment." And then by the like last quarter of the movie, I was like, "This guy has gotta die. This guy's gotta die because this is just too much." And then, spoilers again.
He dies? Question mark?
I don't know if there's a question mark. I think he clearly dies, right? You think they're gonna pull off some like, "Oh, you didn't see the body"?
I think they can, and I think
Because we didn't see a body.
I think they're willing to do it.
Nah, man, it can't be.
I think they're willing to do it.
They faked his death to us, the audience, too.
They said it. They're not done with him, and I think they'll get creative as far
I
as
think
like
they should get
pushing.
creative.
As far as pushing, past his death, maybe not.
I hope not.
But I think they'll definitely be creative. Like we said, that the Ana de Armas,
The ballerina
that movie's gonna that movie would take place
between 3 and 4.
3 and 4. So we still get John Wick.
Which, by the way, I looked up the timeline. Supposedly, this movie's 6 months after John Wick 3, and like 1 to 3 is like a week, like a couple
Well,
weeks.
2 to 3 is a while, no?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
No, 2 to 3 is right. No,
Yeah, no, it's
3
right
is
after because like, oh yeah, you killed him. You have
3 is
1
right
hour,
after.
and you're
3 to 4 should be a big time jump.
It's not. It's like 6 months or something like that. So I know it doesn't make sense. We're just gonna hand wave it because
Or whatever with that one. But no, I still think. I think the studio obviously loves their money, and I read something. I was reading that the studio's like, yeah, we'll make more. We want to make more.
yeah, no, but I think also they had already gone into development for John Wick 5. So I hope they have a plan that doesn't just involve
Do you
taking
think-
back the ending of 4.
You think that's a misstep? You think
think killing him-
Do you think there's no way that can be good?
Not if you left this movie without any indication. You know what I mean? Like, you made the audience believe that he is definitively dead. And I'll accept it. I'm going to be honest. But I think it will weaken this chapter.
I think he had to die in this movie. And
I
I said that at the end of the film, and that's why I was just like, he has to die.
And I think it was a bold move to kill him.
Well, because they announced 4 and 5 were being made, so it's like that's the thing. A lot of people that we went with weren't honestly, I really wasn't expecting it until they get to that dude. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna die. And then, but before that, the whole movie, I was like, there's another movie, so I'm not scared. I'm not like, I don't have that fear like that he is gonna die. But then you get to the duel, and I'm like, oh,
this is happening.
he is gonna die. And like I understood his motives, like, about him, like, going on his terms, like getting his freedom, winning his freedom, and then finally he'd be at peace and does what he wants. And like everyone was saying, stay. There's an after credit scene, and it's like, it's not gonna be. Don't let it be him. You just. But that was an interesting post credit scene too.
That was an interesting post credit scene. You think we're gonna see more of him? You think that's the end of his character?
Of who?
Donnie Yen, yeah. You think he gets killed? You think he gets stabbed right there on those steps?
Probably.
That is an interesting post credit scene.
Maybe they'll do a team up movie.
Maybe. Who knows what the next chapter is?
5.
Apparently the ballerina and then 5. Maybe the Continental spin-off TV series.
I want to watch a TV.
You do want to watch a TV show.
Yeah.
I do want to watch a TV show too. I feel like there's new chapters to write. Not just in the John Wick universe, but in the action movie genre. Just like there's always a new chapter to write in our lives. I don't know if you want to jump in there.
Don't resort to violence, but don't give in to the man.
And remember, there are consequences.
Consequences.